I just successfully monetized my second Faceless YouTube Automation channel, so ignore all the doubters that are saying it can't be done. In this video, we're going to break down how I was able to do it, as well as every single component of what goes into identifying a good faceless channel niche, every single component of how to actually create a good video for the channel, and how long it actually took me to achieve these results. There's also been several recent developments relating to YouTube monetization that are extremely encouraging for those of you that want to start a faceless channel. Mainly, the YouTube partner program requirements have been lowered, right? You no longer need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in order to apply to the partner program. Instead, you now only need 500 subs and 3,000 hours of watch time, which is a major difference and certainly a lot more achievable in a short time frame. They're currently rolling this out to specific channels slowly, but it'll inevitably be available to all channels soon. This faceless channel adventure has been a longer journey than I was expecting it to be when I started. Now, I dropped my first video on trying this like 8 months ago roughly, and I've made several update videos since then. And if you're unfamiliar with what happened, I spent around 2 weeks paraphrasing popular videos on current topics in the political niche, and then overlaying Creative Commons videos on top of those voiceovers that were slightly related. These videos were divisive and they garnered a lot of interest, which led to a lot of views. The only issue was when I finally hit the 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscriber mark that I needed to monetize at the time, YouTube rejected the channel due to repetitive content. Now, after analyzing why this happened, I've since made a few different assumptions about why. First and foremost, YouTube's policy on which channels get accepted versus which ones won't is far from cut and dry. On the first go round, I assumed that if I wasn't just copying other people's videos, then I'd get monetized, but that's not what happened. Secondly, the most frequent reason that I'm seeing them give for why channels aren't getting accepted into the partner program is this repetitive content. But that term is super broad and it basically leaves it up to the person reviewing your channel and their interpretation of whether your channel is or is not repetitive content. Third, I believe that paraphrasing scripts was not the issue. I think that using Creative Commons videos was actually the issue here. While you're technically allowed to use these videos, I didn't add enough to them or edit them around enough to pass as new content that I added something to. Now, all in all, don't leave it up to interpretation for the reviewer unless you want to roll the dice and take the chance that you won't get monetized. Instead, use the proven formula that we'll cover here in a second and make sure. Now, before we cover the video formula that's been working well for me recently, it's important to properly explain how to pick a winning niche. There's two important things that you need to make sure of when you're choosing your niche. One, pick something that you're already interested in and or are skilled in as well, or at least know a lot about. Now, this will give you a leg up on other people making the same videos within that niche that might not know as much about the topic as you do. Plus, if you enjoy the topic, then making videos on it won't seem like work. It'll seem like fun. And secondly, it's crucial that you do some niche research before launching a channel. Don't just pick a random thing that you think will work or a niche that you see other people doing. That's a surefire recipe for failure. For example, you might see another channel that's blown up recently or getting a lot of views in the dog breed niche, right? Or the analyzing a specific stock niche, to name random ones that just popped in my mind. But that does not mean that it's a good one for you specifically. For every channel that you're seeing that's successful, there's a high likelihood that there's hundreds or even thousands that are not. And you're not just going to get suggested the ones that are failing because their videos are dead in YouTube's algorithm. So chances are the only ones that you're seeing are the successful ones. Instead, you want to come up with a few different ideas for niches, maybe 5 to 10 to start, and then literally search YouTube yourself for your competition. Find as many channels as you can that are possibly making videos on those topics. Are those channels successful? Are they doing well? That's important. Is the landscape too saturated? Are there a ton of channels barely getting any views? I'd rather chase a niche with tons of interest that's slightly more competitive than a niche with no competition, but the only reason for that is because there's not much interest. Ideally, you'd find a niche that has interest and channels pulling decent views, but isn't oversaturated with hundreds of channels to compete with that you're also interested in or at least know something about to start, right? That's the perfect storm. But obviously, this is an art, not a strict science, so use those parameters as a guide when you're trying to pick your niche. And don't get caught up in analysis paralysis, right? Pick one, try it. If you fail, you can always move on and try something else. Then, once you have your niche, it's on to building a system that allows you to pump out high quality videos very quickly. In the past, I've tried the volume approach using AI tools that do pretty much everything for me, and this can work, although it's not the most optimal way to go currently in my opinion. I used to use AI voiceover tools, but none of them really do the same job of relating to the audience that a good human voiceover will do. There's no substitute for that good human voiceover. It's going to engage the audience a lot more. It's going to keep them watching, especially on a Faceless channel where there's really only two components that a viewer experiences, and that's the video graphics and the voiceover. Connecting with the viewer via a good voiceover that has normal sounding human inflection points and speech patterns is crucial in my opinion. I also used to use AI tools to do video graphics, right? Like Pictory, for example. And this tool is really cool and it can definitely work. But I think there's better ways to go about it now. While tools like this can make videos super fast and super easy, you'll be sacrificing video quality. And one thing I've come to realize on YouTube is quality is far more important than quantity because views tend to be exponential. A video that's just 5% better will not get 5% more views. It could be the difference between getting 100 views and 100,000 views, or even more, quite literally. So now here's exactly how I approach every video. Step one is I'm constantly paying attention to what topics within that niche are doing well and getting interest and views. If you can have your pulse on the niche in real time, then the chance of you coming up with video topics that can blow up is much higher. Plus, you can hop on relevant trends when they're happening, which can blow your channel up quickly when they come. But if you're not paying attention, then you can miss those opportunities, and often they can't be manufactured or redone. You just have to ride the waves when they come. Step two is I give ChatGPT my topic, and then I tell it to write me a well-written 5-minute YouTube video script that I can read on it. I found 5 minutes to really be the sweet spot there, both outsourcing like money-wise, as well as engagement on YouTube-wise. But test different video lengths and see what works for you. After that, step three is I either do the voiceover myself or I hire somebody on Fiverr to do it for me. Now you can find a high quality voiceover artist on Fiverr for just $5, which really ends up being $8 after fees, but hey, it's still pretty cheap. And you can even bring them on directly if you want off of Fiverr. You just have to be a little bit creative with it. The next step is to hire a video editor that can put video graphics over top of the voiceover to complete the video. For this, I really have two approaches that have been working well. So the first approach is to have somebody that's good at whiteboard animation create a video if it fits the niche and if it fits the video, right? Sometimes it doesn't make sense on specific videos or specific topics to have a whiteboard animation. The most important thing here is to get somebody that's good at creating them, because you'll notice a drastic difference in a quality animator versus somebody that can just like pick the animation pictures, but it doesn't really flow properly. But this will come with hiring a few times and some experience testing different people out. You can find a high quality whiteboard animator on Fiverr for probably around $10 to $20 per video in most cases. Or secondly, hire a video editor that's good at motion graphics and has access to a lot of relevant stock videos to create a high quality video from scratch. Now this takes a bit more skill and can cost a little bit more money to outsource, but often it's worth it. And remember, like we covered, quality is far more important than quantity on YouTube. And you'll get better results with just a few quality videos as opposed to dozens of mediocre ones if you're just using AI. I've hired an editor that does videos for $60 a piece that literally creates videos from scratch using stock video and motion graphics. I've also hired an editor that mainly uses a combination of text graphics, stock videos, and transitions to create videos too. Now that video editor specifically, I was able to find for just $30, and you can see examples of these videos on my second channel if you want to, because when he doesn't have a video to do after a few days, I'll often give him scripts from my blog and tell him to create videos on those, which I'll then post to my second channel. I've been testing to see if faceless videos can do all right there, even though against like my better judgment, it might be tough to succeed with them on a personal brand channel like that. I still thought I'd give it a shot though, at least for a dozen videos or so, and we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, after the video is done, it's crucial to have a high quality thumbnail and good titles as well. If you can't create good thumbnails yourself, then you should outsource this too. I still use Fiverr for this myself, and you can find good designers for just $5. But that's the exact formula that I've used to monetize 2 faceless YouTube channels now, as well as every lesson that I've learned along the way so far. It's been an exciting journey, and I really hope that all this insight helps you launch and monetize your own channel. The honest truth is monetizing a faceless YouTube automation channel is easy, but it does take time, it does take consistency, and it does take money. You need to spend one or the other, right? Often both, either money or time. But think of it as an investment into a future asset that will pay you monthly. It's also important to note that you need to pick a niche that has interest, and you need to be creating videos on topics that have interest as well. The best video in the world on a topic that nobody cares about won't get that many views. But on the contrary, a mediocre video with lots of interest and a clickable thumbnail can get a ton of views. Ideally, you'd be creating high quality videos on topics that people are interested in and doing it consistently over time to build momentum until your channel hits 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours of watch time needed to monetize. But anyone can do it, and this is exactly how, so I hope it helps.